You're listening to Gig Talk on KMI Studios. Now here's your host, Tim Kostas.
Well, here we go. My friend, it is so good to see you. How are you?
Doing all right, man. It's really good seeing you, too. It's really good seeing you.
I don't know if you remember the last time we actually saw each other in person. Do you remember?
No, I think it was when I started playing. We were in St. Augustine, wasn't
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were at Shanghai Nobbies in St.
Yes.
Augustine. And we did a show, and I think you were just starting I think you even called it like Causa Acoustic or something at that
I think
point.
I called it Acoustic for a period of time.
Yeah.
Just because I was doing just original Causa songs, but done kind of solo because the band was kind of on hiatus, but not quite broken up yet.
Right.
So,
But so I mean, when we first met I was in Barnes and the Heart, and I guess we were playing in Gainesville, and you guys were playing too when Causa was full band Causa, and man, we
Yeah.
just fell in love with each other. It was so awesome. I was like, these guys are so cool. You're so cool, and it was like, come to Jacksonville Beach and we'll just put you on these gigs or whatever. And that was mostly like me. Like Trevor was the kind of guy that you had to convince him to do certain things, but it was like, no, these guys are good. We need to like help promote whatever we could. And I guess Kaza was like all original stuff at that point, right?
yeah,
Or was it?
we still played. I have a rule of thumb that you should always play covers when you play shows. And
Sure.
my rule of thumb is usually to play a cover of your second song. Because the first song, people are just like, oh, there's music happening. Let's go see it.
Yep.
And then when you play that cover, that's like, oh, I like this song. Maybe I'll like more. So you kind of keep them around a bit.
Right,
so we did covers, but it was not like what we were releasing. We were releasing mostly our originals and stuff like that.
That's cool.
We put out 2 CDs, I think, before
Wow.
we kind of like went our separate ways.
Yeah, it's such a hard business. It's so much easier to play covers if you just want to go play and make a couple bucks. But I mean, none of us went into this whole thing thinking, yeah, I just want to play somebody else's music. I feel like everybody wants to write stuff and do things like that. And how did you guys get into like writing your own songs and things like that back then when you guys first started doing that?
So Kaza, we were writing a lot of songs together. I originally wrote a couple of songs that I just wasn't, how do I put this? I don't consider myself a great musician on all instruments, but I can at least play them well enough now.
Sure.
Whereas before, I was just a guitarist who also wasn't a great singer. I've gotten a little better, but enough that people don't leave now.
Right.
But it was definitely rough. And then I'd be like, hey, I kind of like my songs, and I met some people that also kind of like the songs. They were like, yeah, let's get somebody else who will sing it, and we'll get somebody who plays the drums. And I really connected with my original drummer, Ruben, and we really vibed off each other and created some great music together because he was a songwriter also. He also did some production work, and so we kind of like learned off of each other. And then Barrett and Adrian were just phenomenal additions. Adrian just brought this amazing energy, and we all just kind of really just vibed, kind of putting stuff together. Eventually Barrett left, which was really sad. I started taking some vocal lessons, trying to get better at singing, kind of rolled into that
Oh,
position.
wow. I didn't remember that you weren't like the lead singer at that point. Yeah, there was another guy and things too. Yeah.
I was the background gritty singer. For
Yeah.
a while.
Gotcha.
And I was actually the lead guitarist too.
No, sure. That part I remember. Yeah, that's great.
And even though a lot of the rhythms and stuff I'd write for Barrett, he was a really good guitarist and a really good singer, but doing both parts together was something that he was still kind of learning into. So I took a lot more of the complicated stuff and played it on guitar so that he could just focus on his singing too. We had a really good time with that. When Barrett left, I kind of stepped into the role of singer. I have another buddy of mine, Derek, who stepped in, and he's a really phenomenal lead guitarist. I mean, he plays in a Marshall Brothers cover band as a lead guitarist. So he blows me out of the water. But he always liked the leads I kind of wrote and picked him up like that because he's so good.
Sure,
and so he stepped in as our lead guitarist. I tried to step in the position of vocalist. And we had a lot of great fun playing some shows together. And I still talk with all the guys. It was just mostly came down to we started having families. We all started moving a little bit in our own direction musically.
Right.
And it just became one of those things that we started practicing a little less, and then started playing shows a little less. And then it was that period of time, like, well, if you guys don't want to play it, I'll just play it acoustic. And they're like, that's fine, go ahead. And that's where it was like,
Wow.
caustic.
And once that ball starts rolling, then it's like, and especially, I mean, Gainesville's probably good for like getting gigs and things, right? I mean, it's probably
Yeah,
a good place to like to
especially
play.
once we got our foot in the door, and we had our
Sure.
foot in the door in a couple of places. We got to play open for some shows that were just like they seem like not as mainstream of bands, but they're bands that I was following in college, and I was getting
Wow.
to jam and hang out with these
Yeah.
guys in the green room. Like, We Were Promised Jetpacks was one of the coolest shows I ever got to play on, and then we played with I don't remember I used to have my flyers up in here, but now I don't, so I don't remember. But we played with the guy, his side project from Modern Baseball. And that was a really, really cool thing because Modern Baseball had a huge following. So people were coming from out of state to see that show.
Wow.
Open for them.
Wow.
And one of the greatest compliments I would always receive would just be like, "Oh, where are you guys on tour from?" I'm like, "Oh, we're from here." You know, like,
You're those local guys that get
you're
to
the
play.
local guys.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I guess we put on enough of a show that they thought we were on tour.
Dude,
with
that
them,
is
and
that
was
is
pretty awesome.
that is awesome. So then you've kind of like, transferred yourself into doing the solo thing, and I know you do the looping thing and stuff like that, and so it was really part of just wanting to keep things going and doing things, right?
Yeah, and it became a lot harder, especially because once my son was born, it became a lot harder to keep practices going and coordinating with other people because my lead guitarist now had a kid and my drummer had left, and we were Jordan stepped in as drum, and he was also phenomenal and great too. But I know we all just kind of got to this point where we were making choices in our life, and
Right.
it basically just kind of split a bit. Like all the members I got a chance to play with, I'm so thankful I had that time with them. It was a great time. And then when it kind of broke off, I did mostly Kaza songs because a lot of them were stuff that I had written, so I had a lot of heart behind it.
Right.
And I didn't want it to just kind of like fade. And then I kind of wanted to see, and I've said this a few times, like I love the Kaza sound. It was very Foo Fighters-y. It had a lot
Right.
of
It absolutely
drive.
was. Yeah.
And I always wanted to kind of see what would my sound be if I just went with my sound,
Right.
and my kind of vision. And that's where Ruud Duud kind of came into play. I started writing songs when my wife was pregnant, and just kind of had a goal to put out an album and see what happened, where I play every single instrument, produce everything myself. As kind of like a show to myself, but also kind of like a, hey, look what your dad did before he became a dad kind of a thing.
Right. Yep.
But also I was really curious on my own musical journey to challenge myself production-wise. If you look at my Bandcamp, every song had a different production challenge. Like one of them was like, hey, start with grunts, or find a way to incorporate sound bites, or like everything was some kind of production challenge I was creating for myself.
But I mean, when you start doing that stuff, because I've done some of those things on the side too, you're like a kid in a candy store
Yeah.
for yourself because you're like, I have this idea and I have no freaking idea of like how I'm going to do this right now. But it's like, no, now I even want to do it more. And how am I going to do?
Exactly.
I did the soundbite thing and some of the things I did, like, when I first moved back over here to North Carolina and things, and it was its own challenge, but it was also, holy shit, I pulled this off, that this thing from a 1950s movie fit in with the beat of this thing that I'm doing here. And gosh, is it like, it's just encouraging as you're going along with that.
It was really something. And it wasn't just in music, actually. A buddy of mine has a lot of work he does with cars, and my car started having trouble. I'm like, oh, I have to go to a mechanic. He's like, you don't have to go to a mechanic. You can do it yourself. And I just started realizing that I'm able to do some of these things. It's not going to be 100% amazing, but I mean, it was good enough to go on to some playlists and get some
Right.
listeners. And I mean, I thought the quality turned out pretty good for the walk-in closet that I'm doing it.
No, it's great. And the thing is, I mean, I'm still of the mind, if you can sit back and being a musician and you can sit back, even if it's just freaking for you, and you can see the beauty in it and you can feel those things. Are we any of us going to make a buck in the music business? Maybe some. That's cool. There's been bigger surprises, you know what I mean? But the thing is, I love like working for hours on something and then sitting back and saying, yes, this worked exactly for me, exactly the way I wanted it to be. and
Exactly.
it's just a beautiful thing. And then, you know, you'll share it with your wife and your kids and stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's perfect. That's great." And it's like, yes, because that's your contained audience, and then some friends, and it might get shared around a little bit. And to me, at this point, that's already a success. And if
Yeah.
lots of people want to listen to it someday, well, fantastic or whatever. But I feel like, and it's funny that you've gone down this path too, is that the production side of things has become way more exciting for me over the last couple of years than even just writing. And, you know, I played in cover bands for the last 30 years or something like that. And you make some money and you play out and you're doing whatever. But boy, I don't know if I've had the satisfaction of like I have mixing something and it's, oh my gosh, that just blended in exactly the way I wanted that to go, and then that came around, and then there's whatever the thing is, and I'm getting goosebumps talking myself right
No,
now. It's
that's
like,
exactly what it is. It's this feeling that like before, like you'd make some with somebody else, you'd be like, oh, I really like this. The drums did this, and I like it, but like originally this is kind of where I was wondering, or like, oh, this had this weird like synth part, like,
yep,
and when it's something that I've completely produced myself, it's all my choice, and it might not be
right,
everyone's cup of tea in that case, but man,
gosh,
as I always joke, like I am definitely my own biggest fan. And
well,
I'm like, I know that sounds so narcissistic,
no,
but
it
like
doesn't. It's
I
like
am the top listener on my songs. I know it. Like
I
I'm
I
constantly jamming my own music because one of the reasons I write it, and I think I talked to you about this too, Tim, is this is as a musician that writes, you also do it because it's like just something you got to get off your
sure,
chest. You
right,
know what I mean? And so, as always, I said, when I write a song, I also research what I'm writing about, and so that I can find, I call it like a school project almost, so that like if I come across that topic again, I'm like, oh, I've done a project on this. I know how to cope with this. It's
sure,
my way to navigate the human condition. So, like I wrote a bunch of different songs. Uncle Ira was just about what is the advice I wanted my son to have as becoming a brand new dad. And then
right,
Sink or Sink, which was a really heavy song for me, was about when my son was born. It was a rough birth, and I thought I was going to leave the hospital alone, and so there was a
oh my
lot that was
gosh,
going on in that
wow,
time. And I used the analogy that it felt like I was trying to play music and I couldn't get on the beat. And
yep,
as a musician, you know that sunk feeling that it feels like. But basically, with faith, I had found a peace of mind that got me through that day, and it all worked out. My son's healthy now and everything, and
wow, that's fantastic,
it was amazing what happened. I just went to prayer, and then I was auto quantized. I was just at peace, and
right,
there's no way to explain going from complete loss and feeling like you're gonna lose everything to that. So I wrote a song about that, and there's all these things that were just like either moments in my life or things I was struggling with that I wanted to make a song about because that's how I cope with it and that's how I get over it, if that
right,
kind of makes sense.
yeah,
And so when you get to produce that personal of music yourself,
so true.
there's
Oh
just
my
this
gosh,
wonderful feeling of like I can control everything about the audio sphere. I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but like the whole thing that the listener is receiving, and if it's just me, is created entirely by me to create the effect that I want it to have the effect of.
right, right, and it's not like produced from the outside world, or more than anything else, that it's not made to try to achieve something for the
Yes.
outside world. It's the
It's to
beauty
achieve
of,
something for you.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And until I started doing some of the things where I use one of these many synthesizers back here and things
I
like
don't think
that,
you have enough. I don't
that
think you
like,
have
yeah, I
enough.
know. It's like if I had more room, I'd have more of them. I think some of them might be tucked away. But that's the thing. It's just like I have this vision, I do this thing, and I do the same thing where it's like you show it to somebody and you're like, it's probably not your cup of tea. It's not for everybody and things like that. But it's
But
like,
it's for me, and that
and
was
it's
the
awesome. And if it connects, it connects. But it's like it's, and like you said, I'm my biggest fan of that, the things that I've done that way. I remember working on a song and it's half mixed, and I'll sit in my car at lunch at work and just listen to it over and over and over
yes.
again. You know what I mean? And be like,
It's
I could
both
be a little.
frustrating and exciting at the same time. It's
Exactly. And
frustrating.
you come home with mental notes like, okay, that's we're gonna raise that up. That went too long. I find it seemed like it at the moment, like it was the right thing to do. It's like, nope, that's got to be cut in half, and then we're going to go here, and then I hear a drop coming here, and then or whatever the thing is, and
And
it's
that's
so
such a
cool.
beautiful thing because you create it. And the older I get, I've said this a bunch of times, but I'm getting closer to 40 now. I'm just really feeling like everything is, I know this sounds so hippie, but everything is energy. And music is an ability to be a conduit of that energy. And like the more genuine and real I can be with what I'm creating and why I'm doing it, the more it connects with others because we are all energy. If that makes sense, we're
Right,
all
right,
connecting to
right.
that kind of energy. And so it's this beautiful ability for me to, like I said, navigate the human condition with expressions of energy that help me cope and
You're right,
understand how to continue to navigate it. And it's just, like I said, even if I had no fans, I'd still be making music. And
right,
what's nice
right.
is I have people like one of the greatest feelings when I play a show and I don't know a face and they're out there singing a song and I'm all like,
Oh my
wow,
gosh, I had one of
this is
those moments
awesome.
years ago when I went
This is amazing. Like,
was in an original band in Boston, played at some club in Rhode Island, and we're out there and we're playing, and everybody knew the words to one of our songs, and I was like, "Oh my, what?" I remember looking at the guitar player singer, the guy who wrote the song, and I'm like, "What the frick just happened?" It was so cool. It's
that's a
like,
high you can't buy, man. That's a high you
no,
can't buy. That
no,
is just
man, it, and
it is an amazing feeling, and it's such a connecting feeling too,
right.
because that's that energy that they're connecting with, and it makes you just feel connected as humans. You know,
And
like
that's
it's just
and
a
that was what how I and it, that's the best way to put it. That's how I felt that night when those that was happening. I'm like, it wasn't just like, oh, look at me. It was none of that. It was about
hmm
that connection. Like they're singing along with you. They know the chorus anyway. You know what I mean? And they were singing it, and it was like, oh my gosh, I do feel connected. And it was out of nowhere. I mean, it was in some grungy club in Rhode Island, and it was whatever, and it just came out of nowhere. But it was a beautiful thing, and
those are those Anthony Bourdain moments, though, dude. Those are those
yeah,
things we chase. You know,
yeah,
like
right, right. And the thing is, like, and you are in a different place as you get older. You see this a different way. I mean, I don't know if I ever got into this thinking someday I want to be famous and make all this money, whatever. I think I started a little bit older and things too, but I was just I just want to have fun with this and connect to people.
yeah.
And the money really has never been a deal because it's whatever it is, it is. And it's like, but boy, if you have if you can connect to people and have a fun show and do those things, that's worth so much. That's how you go home that night and you're like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. I can't wait to do this again. Instead of,
That's better than the merch sales sometimes. I mean,
oh,
it's
better than
nice to
any of
walk
that
away with
stuff.
merch sales and you're all like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
look,
even
I
in the
made some
money in your
money.
pocket
But
that they, somebody hands out the dough at the end of the night, and you're like, oh, it's like a $200, and it's like whatever. It's like, what's that? That's not life changing. Having a moment where you really feel like I'm doing something with this that I've always loved to do. That's more life changing than $200 you're gonna get. And how much are we gonna get? You know what I mean?
exact, and especially if it helps someone. I don't know how to express that, but like sometimes they're just like, oh man, like I listened to this song and I was in a hard space and I really appreciate you making this song. You're just like, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love you. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's oh my gosh. I mean, that's a level I've only had like playing in church and things like that when you know
Yes,
that you know what I
yes,
mean? It's like when somebody's broken because of the way you're playing, not the way I'm playing, that you're being used. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
in that moment. But that is a huge, huge thing. And I come from a church music background, and that's where my son Alec and people
Yeah.
like that. The band, most of the band members I played with for years and years were church guys that played in a band, and then we went and did other things with it and things like that. But boy, there's nothing more.
Well, it's because the church musicians are probably the best musicians out there. You guys have to be on everything and ready to make those changes where necessary
Well,
too.
it's
Like,
funny because we had this exact conversation with Keith Burkhardt, who was here last week, and it was he was a worship pastor and things like that, and it's learning songs fast. You get your music for 4 or 5 songs on Monday. rehearsal on Thursday, a couple of services on Sunday, do it all over again. And then if the pastor walks up because he's feeling some moment, he just looks at you and you got to like, you got to bring it down. And like, we're going to keep going until he builds it up and we're going to go. And then and you have to know how to do those things. And
that's all reading energy, man.
That's what we didn't even talk about it when I talked with Keith last week, but that's exactly what it is, reading the energy. And you can see when he's starting to build it up and do this thing, all of a sudden, everybody look at each other. We're gonna go. You're playing 3 chords in a circle or whatever, but you're starting to build it up, build it up. But doesn't it though? It's a thing, you know what I mean?
It's
and
then dynamics. It's all about, and that's one thing I don't love about my live looping performances. They're great, and I've done a really good job of, I feel like, putting layers to it, but it's so hard to get dynamics when it's just you. You know?
Yeah. But I mean, it is a cool thing though. I mean, when done right, I think it does give an energy to a performance, because a lot of guys just going out and playing acoustic and their corner music and it's whatever. But I feel like people want to hear some groove and things like that and stuff too. And you can bring that while you're doing the solo thing too, which I think is great. And have you liked doing it now? I mean, have you had a good chance doing it and things?
I've definitely upped my game on the live loop. So I've got pedals that give me a little more of a sound that's more accurate, of like a kick and a drum. I upgraded my loop station to an RC300, so I have 3 separate loops I can turn off and on again.
Wow.
I mean, going back to those compliments that mean the world to me, I've had several times people come in, I'm playing, and they're like, "Oh, where's the rest of your band? We heard you from outside."
Yeah.
Like, it's just me.
Dude, that's good.
But like, there's something different when I mean, you can get a nice poppy, groovy sound, and I can create some of those dynamics, but it's different when you have someone that can actually like build it up on the drums, or someone, you know what I mean? Like, they can really add some elemental. That I'm just all about dynamics in music, and that's something that when people say, "Do you want to keep this solo?" I'm like, for now it's working, but like if I find people that want to come out there and play again, I would love to get a band together and perform it.
Hey, listen, I don't want to cut you off, but because of this version of Zoom that I'm using, we have like 20 seconds left, and then I got to call it. I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this real quick. I'm going to loop in your video in the show that we did for Try, and we will get you back on another time. And sorry to cut you off. I love you, brother, and I'll put this up, and it'll be up on Wednesday, and we'll talk more soon. No, it's
great. And if you want, I'll send you a live loop of Try just so you can see what it looks like live looped too.
Do it. Send me that. We got to cut off. We got 3, 2, 1. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. All right. See you, buddy. All right. Bye-bye.
Live loop of Try. Here we go. it's hard to stop these tears from filling your eyes. I know it hurts to feel so lost and afraid, but I hope you know that all these feelings will fade. And I don't want you feeling no hope. I know you're feeling scared, you're not alone. This inertia makes moving so slow. I need you to try to feed your sparks in the dark and go light up your view. And when you're feeling trapped under these cold Feels like this battle is a constant state. You're tired of fighting, so you sink deeper in. But you only sink faster when you don't try to swim. And I don't want you falling anymore. I know it's hard, but you're not alone. This inertia makes moving so slow. I need you to try to feed your sparks in the dark and go light up your view. And when you're feeling trapped under these cold dark rooms, when you're feeling empty like there's no escape for you, remember it's temporary. The light will come again soon. So get up, get out, and go light up your view. Get up, get out, and go light up your view.
Sometimes life is like this dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if you just keep moving, you will come to a better place.
I know it's hard counting these sheep tonight. I know it's hard to stop these tears from filling your eyes. But when you're feeling empty like there's no escape for you, remember it's temporary. The light will come again soon. So get up, get out, and go light up your view. Get up, get out, and go light up your view. Get up, get out, and go light up your view. Get up, get out, and go light up your view.
You're listening to Gig Talk on KMI Studios.